Welcome to the Warrior Word, the first and final word on Warrenton High School athletics. The Warrior Word is brought to you by Warrenton Kia and heard exclusively on 106.3 The Beach.
And welcome to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach, your new home for the Warrior Word this school year. And it's brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. We're talking to Robert Hopeful, the Warrenton High School Athletic Director, on all things Warriors fall sports. And we've got the football team to talk about and also the volleyball and cross-country teams here towards the end of the show. And Robert, we'll just kick off the show talking about the football team once again, as we do each week here in the fall. They finally got going on their league play on Monday night, a game that was moved from Friday because of all the really scary weather out here from Friday. And they took on Portland Christian, and unfortunately it was another loss on Monday night. And why don't we just start by getting your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place to start. As Sean mentioned in that opening little tidbit, we did have to switch the game from Friday to Monday, which was a unique situation for football. You very rarely are going to play games on a Monday night during football season. Really, historically speaking, you only cancel if there's extreme weather like lightning or something that can put players' lives in danger or from a safety standpoint. And, we felt that we had that on Friday with a tornado hitting down in Manzanita, which is obviously pretty close to us. So we made the call about noon on Friday to move it to Monday, which made it definitely a unique situation. It was senior night as well, so it was an interesting night to play a senior night football game on Monday. I thought we handled it pretty well from the adjustment standpoint, but unfortunately we were unable to get it done on the field. Portland Christian is a program that has grown leaps and bounds since last season. Last season they were in a situation where it was really the first year they had football in about 5 years, and didn't have great turnout, didn't have great numbers. This year they have a couple skill players that are probably as good as anybody we've seen this year. They have a receiver on the outside in particular who made probably 4 or 5 plays that we haven't seen anybody make this year. First quarter in a close situation, they were on about a 3rd and 15. The quarterback threw up kind of a jump ball, probably a bad decision to make the pass, all things considered. But give his receiver credit. He went up, made a one-handed catch in triple coverage at about the 2-yard line, which was really a momentum killer. It looked like we were going to stop them. They were able to punch it in the next play and take a 14-0 lead and really kind of separate at that point. But you got to give them credit. I thought the Portland Christian team was extremely well coached. I thought that they had the receiver I've mentioned. They had a running back who was extremely athletic and another tall receiver who was pretty physical. That they really found ways to get the ball in different places and did some good things. And unfortunately we weren't able to stop that. With that said, I thought we didn't play terrible. I thought we played much better, especially in the second half. Again, unfortunately, we haven't been able to put it together for 48 minutes. And we have to find a way to be able to play that first half the way that we've been playing the second half. There's been numerous games this year. Going back all the way to week 2 in Vernonia, where we looked really, really good in the second half, but we came out really flat, and that was, I think, the case again this week. I think we were down 36-0 at the half, and then it was 15-6 in the second half, and wasn't a situation until really with about 4 minutes to go that they put in their second string. For those first 24 minutes of the second half, we were able to beat their starters, and I don't know what the difference is. I don't know what's being happening at halftime. I don't know if the seniors or somebody's saying, hey, let's go or whatever, but it seems like we're really taking too long to get going. It was a game where we had some people kind of stand out. Raymond Alcanbenez had a pretty monster game for us on the offensive side of things. It was really nice for him to have that. It was nice to see it. He's a senior for us. He ended up scoring our first touchdown. And unfortunately for him, he got stripped at the 1-yard line, which they recovered in the end zone as well in the third quarter, which would have been his second touchdown for him on a big play. He also had a monster kickoff return on the left sideline where he broke 5 or 6 tackles. Was able to get to a situation where he was running free one-on-one with a kid, and that kid made a great play to stop him about the 20-yard line, but it turned out to be about a 60-yard return. So he made some big plays. They actually he's a receiver for us. He's been a starter for us for 3 years. He's one of the few guys that was a big part of that run we had a couple years ago where we were 6-0 at this point in the year. It was nice for him to have a big game in his final game at home. It was senior night on Monday. We did have have a good group of seniors, especially when you talk about just quality of character and the quality of people these young men are. I'm going to kind of talk about each of them real quick, just, give them a final shout out. League play is still going on. We play at Clatskanie this Friday. We have to win our final 2 games to make the state playoffs. So we got to take it a week at a time. Clatskanie is in a situation they've been struggling as well. They've had a couple tough games in a row. They lost 46-0 to Rainier last Friday, which is where Rainier's at. Rainier's 6-0 right now, ranked in the top 5 in the state. Extremely, extremely talented. They're having a really good, obviously, fall sports season, as their volleyball team is exceptional as well. So, we got a tough week with Clatskanie. It's a team that we haven't beat in a long time. I don't think we beat them since the early 2000s. I don't think we beat Rainier since 1979 in football. So it's been a little bit of time. We had both those teams in the ropes 2 years ago, but really other than that, it's been kind of a one-sided thing. So I'm hoping that Coach Edwards and his staff can put up together a good game plan for this Friday, and we can take that one. With that said, I'd just like to mention each senior. We already talked about a little bit about Raymond Alcanbenez. Fantastic kid, a kid who plays receiver and DB for us. He's been a 3-year starter on the football team. Has made numerous big plays for us over the last 3 years. But on top of that, he's a great kid. I have him in class. I have him in multiple classes, actually. And he's always doing the right thing. He's got a great attitude. He's fun to be around. He's definitely going to be missed. He's a captain for the team. Just a great kid. Our second senior was Brian Shepard. Shepard, unfortunately, has suffered an injury a couple weeks back. A guy who played some running back and some linebacker for us. An incredibly good kid, a kid who I think is one of the hardest workers that we have. Always smiling, always fun to be around. He's definitely going to be missed as well. Third senior is Devin Bowser. Devin's another 3-year starter for us on the O&D line. He was first team All-League on both last year. Incredible motor, probably makes more big plays on defense than anybody we have. Really works his tail off. Really going to be a really hard guy to replace. Another captain for us. So is Shepard. Our final captain was Hayden Bingham. He's O&D lineman as well. He actually had a monster game on Monday against Portland Christian as well. I think I saw him in the backfield 4 or 5 times making sacks or tackles for loss. Definitely felt the motivation of his final home game. Just another kid who's great out of football as well. We got 4 other seniors. Jared Middleton, another 3-year starter. We had a group of between him and Devin who have been starting on the line since their sophomore year. Jared's, a kid with a lot of strength, a lot of versatility. He's played multiple positions on the line. Next senior is Nathan Ozaguer. Oz is just an incredible kid. He's super fun to be around. Great personality. He's doing the kicking for us on kickoff this year. Just a kid that you want around your program just because his smile and his attitude's contagious. Derek Ham playing some wide receiver and some DB for us. He's a kid that's gotten so much better since I've been here. I had him on JV when he was a sophomore, when I was my first year out here coaching football. He's developed into one of our better offensive weapons. He scored a couple touchdowns this year. He scored our first touchdown this year. Another kid that's a multi-sport athlete, a great kid to be around. And our final senior is Austin Frisbee. Austin Frisbee is just an incredible young man, a kid who works his tail off every day, shows up, he plays, basketball as well. Somebody that I love to be around, I love to have on the field, and we're going to miss all of this group of guys. It's a great class. May not be getting the wins on the field as they would like, but they're winning in the classroom and they're winning at the more important things, so they'll definitely be missed. With that said, we'll be back for a couple more segments this week. We got an exciting week of Warriors volleyball to talk about. Yesterday they played Rainier to wrap up the regular season, and they will be playing this Thursday in a district playoff game at Catlin Gable. We'll also be talking some cross country with Krista Morrill, talking about the Clatskanie Invitational and as well as districts that happen next week. And in the next segment, we'll be starting off with the Warrenton Kia Prep Athlete of the Week. Thank you, and we'll be back.
This is the Warrior Word, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And also thanks to our additional participating sponsors, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlets. We'll come back and talk some more Warriors fall sports with Robert Hopeful here on the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach. And welcome back to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. We're talking to Robert Hopeful, the Warrenton High School Athletic Director, on all things Warriors fall sports. We just got done talking about the football team. And we also have the volleyball and cross-country teams to talk about as well. Robert actually has a couple of his student athletes in the studio with us to talk about those two teams and how they've been doing. But for now, we have Greg from Warrenton Kia in studio to tell us all about the 2016 Kia Soul and give us the latest student athlete of the week.
Hi, this is Greg from Warrenton Kia. Just reminding our listening audience that the 2016 Kia Soul is awarded the J.D. Power Award for the highest-ranked compact multi-purpose vehicle in initial quality for the second year in a row. So head on down to Warrenton Kia. Whether it's a new Kia or a top-quality pre-owned Kia, Kia's Car Corners have you covered. And this week's Athlete of the Week is Raymond Alcabendez.
Yay!
Raymond. Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Ray's a fantastic kid. We mentioned him quite a bit in that first segment. We talked about the fact he's been a 3-year starter for us, and he had a monster game on Friday. This award is for that performance, on Monday, but also just for the hard work he's put into our football program for the past 3 years. I had the pleasure of working with him a lot when I was coaching receivers 3 years ago. He's a kid that's incredibly coachable, a kid that always shows up and works hard. And, he's had a lot of success on the field as well. He is probably our leading receiver and probably the person we're trying to get the most touches to this year, whether it's, playing him at running back, trying to get him handoffs in reverses, getting him back there on punt returns and kick returns. He's a kid that, is just working really hard, and I'm really excited to give him this award, and kind of a pattern with this stuff. But, like we said in the past couple weeks, just an incredible kid as well. Somebody that everybody enjoys to be around. I know that Coach Edwards and Coach Larson and the rest of the staff love coaching Ray. He's a guy that's going to be definitely missed. He's a good role model for the younger athletes, and once again, just very happy to congratulate him. And we want to thank Warrenton Kia for their continued support of Warrenton athletics. We couldn't do the things that we do without support from Warrenton Kia and our sponsors. So thank you to you all. With that said, we're going to transition a little bit into some cross country, talking a little bit with Krista Morrill about what's going on in the cross country world. We just finished up our last regular season meet. We're heading into districts next week down at Catlin Gable. We were at Clatskanie this past Tuesday, yesterday, and let's talk a little bit about that meet first. Welcome back, Krista. Tell me a little bit about the cross country meet that you guys participated in yesterday.
Yeah, this meet was pretty easy meet. It was a 3K, so a lot shorter than normal 5K, so it was really quick. We ran just around the park in Clatskanie, which is actually a new meet for us and them. They've never had that one before. So it was just an interesting experience to try out a new meet and just have fun with it as our last normal race before districts. So it was a good race for us.
Awesome. I've noticed that our times have been getting noticeably better. When I was looking at the results on athletic.net from the beginning of the year, we would be lucky to have somebody, place in the top 10, top 15. And really the last, I'd say, month or so, we've had a lot of kids on both the boys and girls side placing in the top 10. What has been the difference? Has there been an increased intensity in practice? Has there been, has somebody just kind of magically caught there? What's really allowed us to take such a big jump in performance over the past month?
Part of it is, first of all, getting into shape. Starting out, pretty much no one has done anything during the summer, and so starting out, we're all pretty slow. But also, normally by the midpoint of the season, we start getting a lot tougher practices. We're doing more interval training, running more hills, just working to do everything that we can to get faster and just finish out the year well. So, everyone has definitely improved a lot, and that's all that we're looking for our team. So.
Absolutely. One of the things I love to say about cross country and track is that it's so great because you can easily compare where you started to where you finished. It's so much harder to do in team sports to know, hey, how much did I improve this year? But you can look at track, you can look at a time and say, man, I ran the 484 seconds to start the year, and now I'm running it in 62. That's a pretty dang good improvement. And that's the cool part about cross country as well, obviously. We do have some results to get through in a second, but Krista, real quick, final question. We're heading into next week with districts. How are you guys feeling moving into that? And, what do you think of our league and how tough is that race going to be?
For next week, we're all just trying to mentally prepare ourselves. Like, first of all, it's our last race. For many of us, last race pretty much forever. So just we've been working really hard just trying to improve and prepare ourselves in any way possible for this meet. It was really helpful. We were able to run the same meet for pre-districts earlier on in the season, and that's something that we rarely get to do. You don't see cross-country running 2 same races during the season most often, like other sports playing the same team twice. So this will be a good way to tell how much we really have improved, because it's the same exact length the whole time. And we'll get to see how we can place against the other schools as well for this one. So it'll be good.
Absolutely. Great answers, as usual, from Krista Morrill. Thanks for joining us today, Krista. We have some results from the Clatskanie Invitational that took place this past Tuesday. Luke Lillenwall placed 3rd for the boys with a time of 10 minutes, 4 seconds. Alan Martinez came in 8th. Jared Lewis came in 9th. Axel Martinez came in 14th, and Forrest Bigelow 17th, with AJ Schinbeck 18th. On the girls' side of thing, our top placer, was Kaisa Lillenwall, who placed 7th with a time of 13:25. Taylor Owens came in 10th. Alma Bolanos came in 20th. Madison Cadera came in 24th. Krista Morrill 25th. Ellie Schinbeck 27th. Rebecca Springler 29th. Anna Schinbeck 31st, and Trinity Womack 34th. That's going to wrap up our cross-country talk. We'll be back for one final segment talking with Claire Bussert about district playoff volleyball, which takes place this Thursday.
You're listening to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And thanks again to our additional sponsors, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlets. We'll take another timeout and come back and talk about Warriors volleyball here on the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach. And welcome back to the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And we're talking to Robert Hopeful, the Warrenton High School Athletic Director, about all things Warriors fall sports. And now we're going to get into the volleyball part of the show this week. And Robert, you have one of your volleyball players in the studio with you, as you have most of the season. And congratulations to the volleyball team for making the postseason.
Absolutely, it's the it's always a good season. I think if you make it into postseason play, we have an opportunity now. If we can win on Thursday and Saturday to go to the state playoffs, we have a couple games that are really going to determine the overall success of the season at this point. But to me, it's already been a very successful season. We lost some really key players last year in Libby Beal and Allie Bentley, as well as some other key seniors, Lexi, Sophie, and a couple others. So to be able to bounce back after losing 2 first-team All-League type players is an incredible accomplishment from this group. They've faced a lot of adversity this year, whether it be girls transferring to different schools, whether it be injuries, whether it be whatever. And this group that is playing right now, I'm just so very proud of, because I think they've accomplished a lot in the face of a lot of adversity. With that said, we do play this Thursday at Catlin Gable at 6 p.m. In a league playoff game against a team that I think we know we can beat. We have beat them in a tournament down at Vernonia 2-0. And then that next Tuesday, I think one of probably our worst performances of the year, we lost to them 3-1 at Catlin, which is actually what cost us having a home playoff game this Thursday. If we would have been able to win that one back in, I guess it was September 20th on my birthday, we would have been playing at home this Thursday. But unfortunately, we weren't able to show up for that one. But we're going to get a chance kind of at redemption and kind of a rubber match, if you will, to determine if the tournament was a fluke or if that league game was a fluke, and we'll determine really who the better team is, and that's kind of exciting to do. If we're able to win this Thursday, we'll play the loser of Rainier and Portland Christian on Saturday for a state playoff bid at whatever school loses place. At this point, you'd have to guess that's going to be Portland Christian, as Rainier hasn't lost I don't think they've went to a 5th game in any league game. But, it's always possible. Obviously, Portland Christian's extremely talented. They finished 2nd overall in our league, a team that has a lot of talent. So we won't know until Thursday night, obviously, whether or not we win, and if we do win, who we will play. With that said, we got Claire in the booth today. We're going to talk quickly about the Monday game against Rainier, which unfortunately we went down there and lost 3-0. anything that you guys took away from that game? What was kind of the experience you had down there? Obviously, they're pretty good and pretty talented. What was kind of the team's takeaway from that loss?
We lost 3-0, so I mean it seems pretty bad. But during the first game we played like probably one of our best games all season, and I think we only lost by 6. And the second game we fought pretty hard, and then we kind of lost it in the third game. But I think we played pretty well, and if we play as good as we did in the first game on Thursday, we should have a good chance of beating Catlin.
Absolutely. That's a great transition. Let's transition into that talk of that game Thursday. Obviously, we split with them in the regular season, one of them in a tournament, one of them in league. Really what's been the focus at practice yesterday? Obviously, you guys practiced today before heading over there tomorrow to Portland. Do you feel like you guys are prepared for that contest? What's the focus? And, how do you feel?
We've been working a lot on coverage and just normal basics, and I think it's going to really depend on how we're feeling and where our heads are at, but I think we could do it.
Absolutely. It's a situation where, like we said, it's win or go home time, which is always fun. Probably the most fun time of year in all of sports. If we win, we could keep playing until the end of this month and into early March. And if we lose, the season's over on Thursday. So it's a fun situation, and hopefully we're able to win it out and head down to the state tournament eventually. With that said, we do have some kids who have wrapped up their final regular season games in volleyball as well. We talked about them quite a bit earlier. Anything you'd like to add about the group of seniors on their way out, Claire? And any final words you want to say about kind of the postseason?
I don't want the seniors to leave, but I hope we get to play with them for until state. I hope we get to go to state with them.
Absolutely. Some great thoughts from Claire as usual. We once again have a big, exciting week coming up with the football game this Friday at Klatskanai. Go down and support the Warriors. They're in a win-or-go-home type of game as well. Volleyball this Thursday at Catlin Gable in the league playoffs with a chance to hopefully win that and travel to either Rainier or Portland Christian on Saturday. And then we'll be talking about next week with cross-country districts. We'll be talking about, the results of volleyball in the district playoffs and, previewing our final football game of the year in the regular season, at least, next Friday at Rainier. This Saturday at Warrenton Kia, the Warrenton girls basketball team will be doing a car wash to help fundraise for the upcoming season. Once again, just another example of how Warrenton Kia continues to support Warrenton athletics. If you get a chance to come by this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we'll be out there washing cars. There's no charge, but we're accepting donations to help pay for, gear and stuff for the season. So hopefully we'll see you guys on Saturday. Thank you.
That will do it for the Warrior Word this week, brought to you each week by Warrenton Kia. And also thanks to our additional participating sponsors, South Jetty Dining Room and Bar in Hammond and Seaside Factory Outlets. We'll meet you back here next Wednesday night talking about more Warriors fall sports. So for Greg from Warrenton Kia and Robert Hopeful over at Warrenton High School, I'm Sean O'Connor saying you stay classy, Warrenton, and we'll meet you back here next Wednesday on the Warrior Word on 106.3 The Beach.
This has been the Warrior Word, the first and last word on Warrenton High School athletics. Brought to you by Warrenton Kia. Tune in Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for the Warrior Word, heard exclusively on 106.3 The Beach.